Hi Zoran, how are you? I hope you're well. I'm going to talk to you about what we took last week, part of the English that we took. We talked about two types of books and how we can get to know which book we are reading. I'm sure you've heard about fiction and nonfiction before. So if you look at this presentation, think about it for a little bit. Which picture do you think is the fiction? Which picture do you think is the nonfiction? Or actually, what does fiction and nonfiction really mean? You can stop my video, you can write it down, you can talk to your mom or anyone and just have a discussion. Next time I'm going to do the video in a different way so you can actually write your ideas for me so I can read it. This time I'm doing it a little bit differently. So, if we're reading a book about dragons, are dragons real? Can we ever see them? Can we go visit them? If we're talking about scientists, are scientists real? Can we ever go see them? Can we see how they work, where they work? So fiction, I'm sure you know, means that it's not real. Nonfiction means that it's real. So in this presentation, we're going to see how we can tell if a book is fiction or nonfiction. Okay, so what's the difference between them? And here they're telling you, fiction, they're books that contain made-up stories, not real, from the imagination. Nonfiction books contain true facts and information, so we can learn things also from them that will benefit us. And here, explaining a little bit more details about fiction. So fiction books are filled with made-up stories created from the imagination of the author. Do you know what an author is? I'm sure you do. He's the writer of the book. They are not real, and sometimes they even include talking animals. Now I wonder, have you ever seen a talking animal before? I haven't. Fiction books will usually include these features, so this is what you need to look for when you're reading a book to know if it's fiction or nonfiction. They're not real. They tell a story. Characters and settings. So characters are the people or the animals or anything that make the story. So they're the ones that act up the story. If you're watching a film, they're the people in the film or the animals in the film. The setting is the place where it took place. For example, if you are watching a movie about Narnia, I don't know if you know, Harry Potter. What is the setting of Harry Potter? It's the school, Hogwarts, right? Most of the movies are done there. Most of the books are also talking there. So the setting is the place where the story took place. Illustrations, they're kind of drawings or sketches that whenever you're reading a book, you can see them there already. So they don't tend to use real photos. They tend to use illustrations. Problem and solutions, every story has to have a problem and every story has to have a solution at the end. And then it should be read in order, because if you are jumping from one part to another, you might lose some information that are connected together. For example, if you are reading Harry Potter and then all of a sudden you see The Prisoner of Azkaban, but you've never read the first books. So are you going to understand what is the story actually about? No, you need to have it in order. These are some examples of fiction books. I'm not going to go. I want you to pause the video now and I want you to write some examples down or talk to your mom or whoever is next to you and think of some example of fiction books you've read, fiction stories you watched on TV, movies, anything. There are many different kinds of fiction books and texts, and these are just some of the different examples. So pause the video now, think of your examples, and then come back to see what they have offered here. Okay, so these are some examples. They are general examples. They didn't give you names. Fairy tales and nursery rhymes. Fairy tales, like this one here. Do you know her name and the story? I'm sure you do. This is... I'm not going to tell you. I want you to text me. Okay. Picture storybooks, like the comic books on Epic that you are reading. If you're reading a comic book, that's a picture storybook, and it's normally fiction. Chapter books, like the one in Harry Potter. Novels, they're very long stories. Okay. Can you think of any other type of text that is fiction? So, yeah, this was a class discussion we did together. So you need to turn and talk to the person next to you. Other kind of examples. It's similar to what you just did. I'm sure you have written down some ideas. Now, what are the features of nonfiction? What do you think? Do you think it's a real story? Do you think it's from the author's imagination? Do you think it has a character and settings? I don't know. Let's see. Nonfiction books are based in fact. They give the reader information and help us to learn more about different things. Nonfiction books will usually contain these features. So think about it for a little bit. Pause the video, write it down, or talk to the person next to you. What do you think are the features of a nonfiction book? So nonfiction books include real facts, information, content page. So in any book, at the beginning, you have a content page. What do you think is a content page? I don't have a book next to me. But it will be very difficult. I cannot take it. I'll drop everything. Okay. So content page is the first page that has the chapters or the titles and the page numbers. So it will be easy for you if you open it. You want to go to the part where it talks about the heart. So it's page 60. So you just click there and you go to page 60. Click there. You just go there, open on page 60, and that's it. Glossary. So in the school, we have started learning how to make our own glossary. It's like a dictionary, but it's a personalized one. So normally it comes at the back of the book or sometimes at the bottom of the book. It depends on each book and it depends on the level. So glossary is like a personalized dictionary. It chooses specific words from that book and puts it there with the meaning and example to make it easier for the reader to understand the content of the book better. Index is also a place where it has more detailed information. Heading and subheading, these are something like titles that are in the book. You're going to have a look at a nonfiction and the fiction book on Epic, and you get to decide and see which one is the nonfiction, which one is the fiction. You'll see all these examples there. A diagram is more like a picture. For example, if there's a book about the human body, you'll see a skeleton. And then in the next to it, you'll have labels. For example, what is this? It's an arm. What is this? It's a head. What is this? It's a leg. So this is called a diagram, and it has labels. Most nonfiction books will include something like this. Photographs. So it doesn't tend to have as many illustrations as a fiction book, but a nonfiction will have photographs. Fact. Did you know that nonfiction books do not need to be read in order? Why do you think that? So examples, you can think of what kind of books that are nonfiction. Pause the video, write it down, or discuss with someone next to you, and let me know. So here you have a dictionary, history books, animal nature books, general knowledge and trivia, information, science books, travel books, art books, biographies, and autobiographies. Biographies are when a person, for example, I'm writing a story about you, about your life. This is called a biography. If I'm writing a story about my life, it's called an autobiography. So it's about someone else's life or it's about your own life, okay? Nonfiction isn't just for books either. Documentaries are another good example of nonfiction. I love documentaries. Have you ever watched a documentary before? Okay. So think of any other texts that are nonfiction. There are some examples in the class. I wish you were there. They were very helpful and very good. But I can't wait to hear your examples. Okay, so for now, what you need to do is, I will assign for you, I think I have assigned it already for you, these two books. They have the same theme, and read them, discuss. Which one do you think is the fiction book? Which one do you think is the nonfiction book? Why and why not? And then I want you to come and fill out this Venn diagram. You can either print it out, fill it, take a photo or scan it and upload it to CISO, or you can complete it also in the interactive workbook that I will send you for English on live worksheets. It's up to you. So Venn diagram is a way that can, you can read the, hang on. You can read the instructions here. So what is a Venn diagram? It's an organizer that tells you how the subjects are different in the outer circles and how they are the same in the inner circles. So we are talking about two different subjects here, fiction and nonfiction. In one part, we're going to write about the fiction story or book. In another part, we're going to write about nonfiction story or book. And then here in the middle, we're going to see how they are the same. Now, this, you're going to use it with these books that I will assign it for you again. But I want you to do it like this. So this part will be the fiction. This part will be the nonfiction. We're going to see what is the plot. So the plot is the story. What happened in it? You can write a little bit about what you understood from the book. Okay? So write a plot here, write the plot here, and then the settings is the place. Where did it take place? Where did the story take place? Write it here, write it here. Now, I've already helped you out with something. They have the same theme, and the characters are almost the same also. So think a little bit about it, and write it here to see how they are the same, although they are different books. Okay? I will send you everything now in order for you to complete it, and I cannot wait to see your work. Remember, anything you want to show me, anything you've solved, you've completed, upload it to CISO. So we have one place that we can group up everything that we've done. Okay? Good luck!